Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining the Bhakti Sanga conference call today. Let us move to our next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all have joined the call this morning? Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण पद्मा माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय प्रीति दासी फ्रॉम शार्लोट हरे कृष्ण
Preeti Mataji. Happy Ekadasi. Thank you for joining the call. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी टुमारो एकादशी माता जी संडे
Oh, Sunday. Okay, Mataji. Sorry.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandut Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Arvind Akhtar from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
No, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Arvindaksh Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dhanot Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devi Dasi from College Station, Texas. Ekadasi is different for different time zones, Mataji. Please check your local temple calendar. My temple says today is Ekadasi for me. So I'm doing it Ekadasi today. After the class, we're going to read Ekadasi Mahatyam today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
EST time today, right?
Mataji, EST, it says tomorrow. Please check the Atlanta calendar.
Hare Krishna Vinita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for clarifying that. Yeah, at least from where I have seen, that is what today, May 18th, is what I saw, but I'll confirm with my temple, Mataji. I'll check.
No, it's
for
us tomorrow, Mataji.
EST, yeah, EST it is tomorrow, Mataji. Okay, Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jai Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and all Vaishnavas.
हरे कृष्ण पद्मा माता जी और शिला प्रभुपाद and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees.
Paramapavani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam to you and all Vaishnavas. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Vrindagopika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shyama Gauri Devi Dasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shyama Gauri Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. My Dandavat Pranams to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Sushmita from Mississauga, Canada.
Hare Krishna, Susmita Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna, Padma Mataji, Om Guru Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devi Dasi from Ran.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Valli from Naperville, Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Valli Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Bhakti Sanga conference call. Today we are fortunate to have Her Grace Medhavini Sakhi Mataji for enlightening on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Mataji, can we start recording?
Yes, Mataji, I will start the recording.
Sorry, Mataji. Let me see. Come to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are fortunate to have Her Grace Medhavini Sakhi Mataji for enlightening on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 7th chapter, 41 verse. Before giving the call to Prabhu Mataji, I would like to give call to Suresh Shyam Prabhuji to give brief introduction about Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Please take over the call. Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. Please take over the call, Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. A brief introduction about Mataji. Her Grace Medhavini Sakhi Devi Dasi is the disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj and received Harinam initiation in 2004 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and Brahmanical initiation in Chennai in 2019. She is a chartered accountant by profession and has worked with leading multinational companies. Originally from Chennai, Tamil Nadu, currently staying in Mumbai with her husband, His Grace Harinama Krishna Das, and their two daughters. They are connected with Radha Giridhari Mandir, Mira Road, Radha Gopinath Mandir, and Jagannath Center, Thane. She serves as a coordinator, hosting and managing Jayapataka Swami Sishya Samoha Mumbai programs and transcription proofreading of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj lectures. Other service during this lockdown included conducting online Brahma Muhurta Japa sessions, organized an international online quiz challenge based on Srila Prabhupada's Lila Amrita in celebration of Srila Prabhupada's 125th appearance anniversary this year, and takes online classes based on Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Back to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu. I don't see Mataji still on the call. Maybe we can chant, or if anybody would like to. Oh, yeah, Mataji is here. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for giving your valuable time and association this morning, for enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 7th chapter, and 41 verse, Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, please take over the call whenever you are ready, Mataji. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Can I share my screen? Do I have the access?
Yes, Mataji, I gave you.
Okay. So, just one second. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams to all the devotees. We'll start with Jai Radha Madhava. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jai Radha Madhava कुंज विहारी गोपीजना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोधानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोधानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरा भक्ता वृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरा भक्ता वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय गौरनीताय जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रमा जय सुदर्शन जय बाल जय राधा रस बिहारी जय राधा माधव राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा गोपीनाथ राधे जय राधे जय राधे राधे जय श्री राधे जय षड्गोस्वामी जय गुरु परंपरा जय प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्रील गुरुदेव की जय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यां नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमो पङ्कजनाभाय नमो पङ्कजमालिने नमो पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रये पाहि पाहि महायोगीन् देवदेव जगत्पते नान्यं त्वादभयं पश्ये यत्र मृत्यो परस्परम् कृष्ण कृष्ण महाबाहो भक्तानाम् अभयङ्करा त्वमेको धैर्यमानानाम् अपवर्गोऽसि संश्रुतेः. Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much for joining in for our Srimad Bhagavatam session this morning. Today we are going to discuss this verse 7.41. So I'm just sharing my screen. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.41. Yadartha iha karmani vidwan manya sakrannaraha karoti ato viparyasam amogam vindate phalam. Yadartha iha karmani vidwan manya sakrannaraha karotyato viparyasam amogam vindate phalam. Yadartha iha karmani vidvanman asakrinnaraha karotyato viparyasam amogam vindate phalam. Synonyms, translation and purport of His Divine Grace, Abhicharanaravind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Yat, of which, arthe, for the purpose, iha, in this material world, karmani, many activities in factories, industries, speculation, and so on. Vidvat, advanced in knowledge. Mani, thinking himself to be. Asakrit, again and again. Naraha, a person. Karoti, performs. Ataha, from this. Viparyasam, the opposite. Amogam, unfailingly. Vindate, achieves. Phalam, result. Translation, a materialistic person, thinking himself very advanced in intelligence, continually acts for economic development. But again and again, as enunciated in the Vedas, he is frustrated by material activities, either in this life or in the next. Indeed, the results one obtains are inevitably the opposite of those one desires. Purport. No one has ever achieved the results he desired from material activities. On the contrary, everyone has been frustrated again and again. Therefore, one must not waste his time in such material activities for sensual pleasure, either in this life or in the next. So many nationalists, economists, and other ambitious persons have tried for happiness, individually or collectively. But history proves that they've all been frustrated. In recent history, we've seen many political leaders work hard for individual and collective economic development, but they have all failed. This is the law of nature as clearly explained in the next verse. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Pitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura-drishe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय धराले कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं हरिः ओम् तत्सत्। हरे कृष्णा। So this chapter is talking about what Prahlad learned from the womb, right, from Narada Muni, right, being in the womb of Rayadu. Prahlad Maharaj is getting the fortune of understanding the transcendental subject matters, isn't it? So before we actually deep dive into the subject, right, I thought we will start with this beautiful song that's actually written by Govindas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj, that will set the mood for this session. How all of our materialistic endeavors to attain wealth, name, fame, glory, whatever we desire, is all Shrami eva hi kevalam. It does not lead to samsiddhir haritoshanam. Unless we please the Supreme Personality of Godhead by our endeavors, all our endeavors are in vain and they are useless labor, as Bhagavatam states. Right. One more thing I realized, right, as I was just preparing for the class, very auspicious that we are studying these teachings of Prahlad Maharaj, what Prahlad Maharaj learned on 18th of May we are today. So 22nd of May is the auspicious Narasingha Chaturdashi. So very auspicious that we are studying this the upcoming Narasingha Chaturdashi. Very beautiful, very auspicious. श्री नरसिंह चतुर्दशी महामहोत्सवा की जय, प्रहलाद नरसिंह देव भगवान की जय. So let's quickly sing this beautiful song that will set the mood right as we in Govindas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj actually very clearly puts in the song itself what is the use of wealth, what is the use of relatives, right? Let's sing the song and then we will try to discuss the verse. Okay, let me share my screen. Just pull up the song. भजहुरे मन श्री नंद नंदन अभय चरणर बिंदरे. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे. The song clearly brings out the futility of our materialistic endeavors. Yeah, let's sing this beautiful song and then quickly we'll discuss the verse. And then the beautiful purport given by Prabhupada. We'll try to discuss that in detail. Vajahure mana Sri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare Durlabha Manava Janama Satsange Toro Hoye Baba Sindure Shita-tapa Bhata-barishana Yedina Jamini Jagire Bifale Sevino Kripana Durajana Chapala Sukalabha Lagire Yedhana Yauvana Putra Parijana Ite ke ache para रे कामला दाला जाला जीवन तलमला बजाहु हरि पाद नीति रे श्रवणा कीर्तन स्मरण वंदन पाद सेवना दास्य रे पूजन सखी जनात्मनिवेदन गोविंद रास अभिलाष रे बजाओ रे मन श्री नंदनंदन अभय चरण रविंद रे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे बजाओ रे मन श्री नंदनंदन अभय चरणार विंद रे अभय चरणार विंद रे अभय चरणार विंद रे. So in this beautiful song, actually Govindadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj is saying how futile are we making our human form of life, which is so valuable, but for seeking some amount of wealth, some amount of glory, some amount of name, fame, glory, everything that is going to die with this body. We are spending so much of our time, our efforts, right? Life is tottering like a drop of water in lotus petal. We don't know how long we're going to live, and we've got this valuable human form of life. So if you're not engaging in devotional service, then like Prabhupada says in Ishopanishad, right, that we are killing our soul, right? So with this song and this consciousness, let's quickly delve into this verse, which is predominantly telling us the same thing. If you are not practicing devotional service, if you are not having the spiritual knowledge, then all of this academic knowledge, they are all zeros, and without the one, they have no value. So let's quickly read the translation once. A materialistic person, thinking himself very, very advanced in intelligence, continually acts for economic development. But again and again, as enunciated in the Vedas, he is frustrated by material activities, either in this life or in the next. Indeed, the results one obtains are inevitably the opposite of those one desires. It's very beautiful. We are all anandamayo abhyasat, right? We are all seeking happiness. And Prabhupada is very emphatically mentioned that the result what we will get, the opposite of what we desire. It will be the opposite. That means it is going to be miserable. Right? I was hearing Prabhupada's lecture. Prabhupada was mentioning in that lecture that all of our material education is useless. Material education means advancing our misery. Right? Prabhupada is saying. Right? We become bachelors of literature, masters of business administration, but all of that, finally, what we result is, right? We have happiness and distress coming. Sitoshna sukha dukkada. Happiness comes and we think we've achieved great success in life, but then immediately when misery follows, that supersedes that happiness. And ultimately, at the end of the life, if you've not practiced devotional service, it is completely miserable. And Prabhupada says, so we need to have the right kind of education. So what is that education? The real science, right, which talks about the laws of material nature. That is the education that we need. How the laws of material nature function, how we are caught up in these three modes of material nature, how we function in tamoguna, rajoguna, and satvaguna, and how that is binding us. The more and more we perform activities, the more and more, Prabhupada says, we are entangled in the complexity of material nature, right? And Srimad Bhagavatam gives us, so many verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Every verse in Bhagavatam actually tells us how to go beyond the three modes of material nature. This is a very powerful verse coming from the mouth of a Mahajan. And we see Srila Prabhupada also. He's matching up the conviction, right? Saying no one has ever achieved the results he desires from material activities. And we see the purport also. So many times Prabhupada has mentioned the word frustrated, frustrated, frustrated. So this is spiritual science. It's not just sentimental faith, right? What do you mean by science? Science means we can verify it, right? It can be testified, right? When we are put into the fire of material existence, we are burning, right? But sometimes we have pleasure fumes coming, sometimes we have pain fumes coming, right? Sometimes we think it is a pleasurable thing to be engaged in the activities of this world, but the next moment when we experience pain, we see that, oh, it was not worth it at all, right? So much of endeavor was going in it, and it's finally giving me pain, right? And how is it scientific, right? In whichever laboratory we do a scientific experiment, in whichever country we may do a scientific experiment, the result is the same. If you mix two chemicals, the compound that is generated is the same, whether we do an experiment in India, or we do that experiment in US, or we do that experiment in Dubai, wherever we do. So similarly, we are all caught up in this fire of material existence, and we are all suffering. But we are thinking that sometimes it's pleasure, sometimes it's a pain, right? But the pain fumes are much more, and we have the experience in this material world, right? And Krishna says, "A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna," and this world is Dukhalayam and Ashashvatam. So whether we are in India, or whether we are in the United States, or we are in Dubai, or we are in the heavenly planets, or we are even in Brahma Loka, right? This is designated by the Lord as Dukhalayam Ashashvatam, right? We were discussing the other day also, right? Krishna says, "Mam upetya punarjanma dukhalayam ashashvatam," right? So this world is dukhalayam, but we are seeking happiness in this material world, right? The other day also we were discussing, almost in every class we discuss this, right? In Pustakhalayam, we find Pustaka, right? In Bhojanalayam, we find Bhojan, right? If you look for Bhojan in Pustakhalayam, you'll get frustrated. Then amidst the books, if you look for a plate for prasadam, right, we'll be bewildered. Similarly, we go to Bhojanalayam and we want to find a book, right? We will be frustrated. That's exactly what Prabhupada is saying. It's very simple, right? But then we don't understand simple things because we have complicated our lives to such an extent, right? Similarly, in Dukhalayam, if you are trying to find happiness, we will be frustrated because this world is designated to be a Dukhalayam. So what do we do, right? Is there no hope? Are we going to be experience frustration after frustration? So what do we do, right? So in this Dukhalayam, let's find out the reason, right? Why are we frustrated, right? So when we deep dive into it, we understand the extent of misery that we experience is always directly proportional to the enjoyment that we have had from that particular object, right? For example, say I have bought the latest version of the mobile, right? I was giving the same example in one of our Brahma Murta sessions yesterday or day before yesterday. So I was preparing the session. I just thought, very, very wonderful example that clearly brings the point, right? I buy a latest version of the mobile. I purchased it only yesterday. Gave me a lot of enjoyment. Oh my God, this was my desire. My desire has got fulfilled. I'm so happy. I'm showing off my mobile to everyone. There is no greater happiness than this, right? It gives me so much of happiness. My heart is filled with happiness. But then a small scratch happens on that mobile, right? It was kept on a table. My daughter went by. She just dropped that mobile down, right? How much of misery it is going to create in my life. I'm not going to create misery just for myself, right? I'm going to shout at my daughter, probably even spank her, depends on my attachment to that particular mobile. And the amount of enjoyment that the particular mobile gave me, few moments earlier, or probably a day earlier. Now the misery that I'm going to experience in terms of my relationship with my daughter, in terms of the loss of that mobile. No, the mobile is still working. Mobile is still working. The mobile is in a workable condition. But a small scratch on that mobile is giving me much more misery than the happiness I experienced when I actually bought that mobile. Although the mobile is working. Why? Because of my attachment to that mobile. Oh, the mobile is new. I just bought it yesterday. Every person I meet on that particular day, there is nothing else that I'm going to talk to that person except that I bought a mobile yesterday. It was a brand new mobile, the latest Android mobile. But see what has happened. There's a scratch on this mobile. The scratch is in our heart, right? More than on the mobile. So to that extent, we are attached to a material object. To that extent, it has the potential to give us pain. But it is not due to the sense object, right? Because it's a costly mobile, it's a very, very valuable thing and I lost it, or there is a decline in the value, or what will people say that I have a mobile that is scratched, that has a scratch in it, right? Is it because of that I'm feeling sad? No, it is not because of that object itself, right? Let's take another example, right? There is a nice okay, I don't have a latest Android mobile, I don't have a Mercedes-Benz car also. This is just for example. So say yesterday I have purchased a new Mercedes-Benz car. It is lying on my parking lot. I'm in the 26th floor and I'm always seeing, oh, my nice Mercedes-Benz car. What happens? Someone, I hear a crashing sound, which comes up to the 26th floor, right? To the extent we want to hear something, we will always hear it, right? Because our eyes are always there, our ears are always there. There is a car which comes and bangs on the car that I have purchased, right? So what is it? When I hear that, there are fumes. The fumes are coming anyways from that car also. The fumes are coming out. But greater fumes are coming from my heart, right? So I rush down all the 26 floors. I forget that the lift is there, right? When the mind, the intelligence does not work. Oh my God, tears are flowing from my eyes and fumes are coming out of my heart. I rush down to my parking lot. I forgot in all my misery that my neighbor also has a Mercedes-Benz car, which is of the same color, right? And I realize that it is not my car, but it is my neighbor's car that has got dashed and has got a dent and fumes are coming out. What happens? So much of depression that I felt in my heart, in a moment's time, the object is the same. It is the same Mercedes-Benz car. The only difference is that it is not my car or what I identified to be my car, but it is my neighbor's car. So the scar is the same, the damage caused is the same, but suddenly I am so relieved. My depression, my misery turns over to happiness. Oh, it's not my car. Why? The object is the same. It is because of my attachment to that particular car that is causing me the distress. It is not the car that is causing the distress. It is not the value of the car that is causing the distress. It is not anything else that is causing distress except my attachment to the car. To the extent we are attached, see, this is a class to myself actually, right? For my own purification, right? I have really put those examples, right, which will really purify me. And if it is of help to all of the people who have joined here, that is going to be an additional, icing on the cake, right? But typically for my own purification, because I especially, right, I get a lot worried by all of these materialistic things. Why? Because of my attachment to that particular object. It's the extent to which we are attached to a particular object. To that extent, that object has the power to create misery for me. Right? In Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.8, Pumsa striya mituna bhavametam tayor mito hridaya granti mahuhu ato gruh kshetra sutapta vittai janasya mohoyam aham ameti. Okay? To the extent I have this misconception that this is mine, I am the owner of this property, I control this property. Whatever damage may happen to that property, it will cause a damage to me to that extent. Why? Because of my conception of I and mine, aham mameti. Right? In this purport, Prabhupada actually talks very beautifully about how one is attached to one's body, one's home, one's property, one's children, one's car, one's children, one's relatives, one's wealth, everything. All of these attachments, right? All of these things, all of these people and the things are ultimately to be taken away at some point or other, right? If the car does not leave us, right? Maybe the car is damaged or maybe the car can be stolen. I'm just giving an example of the car, but so many attachments are there. They're attached to everything. Our own body is a great attachment, right? If the car is not damaged and the car continues, right, for 100 years also, right, I'm not going to be living for 100 years, right? So whenever I leave my body, right, I'm going to also leave all the cars and all the properties and all the things, all the material things that are attached to this body, right? So I know I have to give up this artificially, this artificial need that I've identified, the artificial desire that I have created in my mind, that I need all of this, only then I can be happy, right? But then those things that give me happiness, even if it is fulfilled, right? One thing is it never gets fulfilled. Most of the things don't get fulfilled. If it gets fulfilled also, it has the propensity, it has the potential to give us a lot of pain. So, am I supposed to give up sense gratification? Right? I have desires, right? What should I do? I'm getting intermittent happiness also, na? Right? If I give up that also, if I give up the endeavor, then what am I supposed to endeavor for? What is it that I need to work for? Right? So Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.10, right? It says, you may have a lot of desires. We don't artificially negate, right? And sit through that I had no desires, right? In chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says, that kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhava, right? The kama is running in our mind, right? Dhyayato vishayan pumsam, sangasteshu bhajayate, sangat sanjayate kama, kama krodot vijayate, right? The desire is there. When you look at a particular object, the desire is there. But when you artificially succumb that desire and we think that I'm not attracted to it, then what happens? Our mind is still contemplating on it, right? Maybe we may be engaged in other activities. But as the more our mind is contemplating on it, and we don't have a higher taste, right? Our mind is contemplating and inside we are suffering, but we're not doing anything about it. That is not the solution. So artificially, if I give up sense gratification also, it is going to give me misery. So what is the way? One way, according to our level of evolution of our consciousness, one way is to, Krishna himself gives various options, right? Akama sarva kamava moksha kamudarati tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Krishna tells, you have lots of desires, you have no desire, right? We are in the situation where we have lots of desires. So what is the option Krishna is giving us? At least don't worship the devatas. At least worship me, right? If it is good for you, I will give you, right? We have the example of Dhruva Maharaj, and we've seen this many times. Dhruva Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu. Dhruva Maharaj also prayed for a kingdom better than his forefathers. Hiranyakashipu also prayed that I have to live eternally, I have to rule the heavenly planets. There should be nobody who's as powerful as me. Both of their desires got fulfilled, right? Hiranyakashipu also became a king for some time. But later on, he was always threatened, right? And every time he had to do more and more penances. And finally, Brahmaji came and fulfilled his desire to the extent he could fulfill it, right? Even Brahma cannot give liberation. Even Brahma cannot give eternal life, right? Brahma. And then Hiranyakashipu thought that I'm very intelligent, right? We all know the pastime, right? We'll be discussing that pastime also on, in about 4 days' time, right? We are meditating on that, appearance of Nrsingadev, right? So, and neither I should be killed outside, nor I should be killed inside, nor I should be killed by any weapon, nor I should be killed in the air, nor in the water, nor in the house, nor inside the house, outside the house, everything. He asked probably everything that he could conceive of with his intelligence. And he's supposed to be very intelligent, supposed to be very learned in the Shastras, very intelligent person. He could think of all the possibilities, how he can escape death. And he asked all of it to Brahmaji, right? Except that Brahmaji did not tell that you will live eternally, because he could not give that boon. He said, Tathastu, okay, so be it. For all of the other things that Hiranyakashipu told, right? Because he had complete trust in the Lord. The Lord will find a way. And on the other hand, our Dhruva Maharaj, he also had the same desire. He wanted a kingdom even greater than Brahma. But fortunately, he had the association of Narada Muni. Just like our Prahlad Maharaj also, right? He also got instruction from Narada Muni while he was in the womb of his mother. He got this mantra under the guidance of Narada Muni. He worshipped Vasudeva. He worshipped Krishna. And in this way, what happened? All of his material desires got purified. So this is one way, right? If you are not able to give up material desires, actually, we need to, as devotees, we need to give up material desires. Every day in the morning, we are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh Krishna, oh Srimati Radharani, please engage me in your service. May I have no other desire other than to serve, satisfy, and please Guru and Gauranga. So in this way, every day when we are chanting Hare Krishna Mantra, automatically our desires will get purified. In that way, we don't even have to ask the Supreme Personality of Godhead to fulfill our material desires. However, if our consciousness has not reached that level, whatever desires we have, at least we ask the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? And of course, we need to do that with knowledge, right? Why? Because Krishna will not give us something if it is not going to facilitate our bhakti. If it is going to deviate us from the process of Krishna consciousness, Krishna will not give us. Right? So without knowledge, even if we pray to Krishna, then we cannot sustain it for a long time. Right? We may practice it for some time, and then we will think, oh, Krishna is not fulfilling a desire. Right? So let me go to demigods. So backed by Shastras, we need to study Bhagavad Gita. Right? That's why ABCD square formula is given by Prabhupada. Right? When we study Srila Prabhupada's books, then we understand that even if my desire is not fulfilled, then probably that is the best thing to happen to me. Bhoktaram yajnatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhradam sarvabhutanam nyatva mam shantim vichati. The Lord is my best friend. The Lord is my best well-wisher. So whatever the Lord gives me is only good for me. Other things are not good for me. Right? So this consciousness is very, very difficult to develop. Right? That is why even amongst devotees, we see that after having worshipped the Lord for some time for a particular material benefit, then we think that if I get this, then I will be able to practice devotional service also nicely. So let me worship the demigods. In that way, Maya will trick us. Right? You worship the demigod, but whatever I get, when my desire is fulfilled, I will utilize everything in the service of the Supreme Lord. It never happens. Right? Kamastasya hritay jnane. That means who worship the demigods? Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, bhajate anya devata. Right? Those who worship the demigods have sense gratification, kama, lust only in their hearts. When lust is occupied our heart so much that we want something, even though the Lord is not giving us, and we want to pray to the devatas, how on earth will we utilize that in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead when the desire is fulfilled? Right? Kunti Devi says, I pray for more and more calamities because that time only I can remember the Supreme Lord. This is the prayer of a pure devotee. And we are talking of having material desires and worshipping the demigods to get those desires fulfilled. And later on, we want to utilize it in the service of the Supreme Lord. Right? First and foremost, right? Even our, what is his name? Sugriva. Right? Sugriva is a great devotee of the Lord. Right? He promised to Lord Ram, if you they entered into a deal that, you actually help me defeat Vali, and then I will help find Mother Sita. And what happens? Chaturmasya happened. Lord Ram is waiting. After the 4 months also, Sugriva is so busy in his enjoyment. Okay? So when our desires get fulfilled, then later on I will utilize it in the service of the Lord. It never happens because of our conditioned material existence. Right? So before we approach demigods, even with that happens in the back of the mind all the time, right? That if I get this job, if I get this bonus, if I get this promotion, let me pray to the devatas for it. If I get a beautiful wife, if I get a beautiful husband, if I get a handsome husband, then, I will be able to use everything in the service of Krishna. I will use the entire money. I will give Nitya Seva, right? Nitya Seva of 1 lakh rupees every month. It never happens, right? Well, first and foremost, our desire may not get fulfilled because in this material world, in Kali Yuga, even when we worship the devatas, it has to be perfect worship. Only then the demigods are obligatory to give us also. Right? One thing is, we may not get it. Secondly, when we get it, we are so excited with whatever we have received that we forget our promise that finally I will actually engage this in the service of the Supreme Lord. We don't even do it. We forget it. Right? Because lust is there in the heart, right? There cannot be devotional service. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, as long as it is occupying our heart, there cannot be any place for devotional service. So, right? If your first best thing is to pray to the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let me not have any desire other than the desire to serve, satisfy and please Guru and Gauranga. Second, if not that level, second level is to pray to Krishna only for the satisfaction of our material desires. If we don't get that particular desire, we don't approach the demigods. Right? Prabhupada gives a very beautiful example, analogy, right? How the demigods are like shopkeepers. Right? Every day, if I have 10 rupees, I go to the shopkeeper, the same shopkeeper. It's not that I'm going to different shops. The same shopkeeper asking for chocolate, 10 rupees. I get 2 Kit Kats, for example. Every day I'm taking 2 Kit Kats and every day I'm going and giving him 10 rupees. And I'm asking for Kit Kat. The shopkeeper is not going to tell me, your teeth is going to get spoiled. Your health will get spoiled. Don't eat chocolate every day. No, why would he say? As long as he is getting his 10 rupees, he will give the 2 chocolates to me. He's not bothered about my teeth or my health, right? But if I were to go to my parents, my father, my mother, and ask 10 rupees every day, my parents will give me 10 rupees every day, right? But if I were to tell them the reason, right, they will ask me, why do you need 10 rupees every day, right? Say I'm a 5th standard student or a 4th standard student for that reason, right? They'll ask me, why do you need 10 rupees every day, right? And I say, every day I want to eat this chocolate, this wonderful chocolate that is available in this shop. I want to go and purchase this Kit Kat every day and have it. Right? My mother will not give me that 10 rupees, right? Even if I get a pocket money of 10 rupees every day, that will also be cut, right? Then I may find the shopkeeper is so merciful. My mother is so cruel, isn't it? But what is the understanding? Now that we are mature enough, we know that our mother is not giving that 10 rupees because it is not good for me, it is not good for my health. The shopkeeper is not interested. Similarly, demigods are like shopkeepers. As long as we satisfy them by performing yajnas, which itself is not possible in the Kali Yuga, but some or the other, we have learnt Vedas very nicely, Karma Kanda, and we have satisfied the Devatas. The Devatas give us also, but that is not good for us, right? Just like the chocolate is not good for me. Similarly, if Krishna, just like the parents don't give us that 10 rupees because they don't want our health to get spoiled. Similarly, Krishna will not give us something. Krishna will not fulfill our desire if it is not good for us, right? If it is not good for my soul, if it is not good for me, I am a spirit soul, right? Fantastic. I have all the knowledge, right? Then how do I come out of this duality, right? I feel happy when my desires are fulfilled. I feel unhappy when my desires are not fulfilled. I have all the theoretical knowledge in my heart, in my brain, actually, right? It's not yet percolated to the heart. If it were to percolate to my heart, then I would not be desiring all these things. It is not percolating. Then Krishna is giving us so many verses in Bhagavad Gita. That is why it's very important to study Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a preliminary study, right? If you have to go from a place A to a place B, then you use the GPS, right? How do I progress from here, right? If I have a lot of material desires, I'm not able to give up those desires. Okay, let's worship Krishna. But then I'm not having this surrender mentality to Krishna. So how do I develop this surrender mentality to Krishna? So Krishna himself tells us, right? It is very difficult to actually go beyond the 3 modes of material nature. Daivi Hayeshu Gunamayi, Amamaya Duratyaya. Very, very difficult to overcome the 3 modes of material nature. My desire to have chocolate, my desire to even have opulent prasadam. Right? Very wonderful. I heard this. Arjuna and Yudhishthira Maharaj. Arjuna and Duryodhana. Sorry. Arjuna and Duryodhana. Both of them go to Krishna, right? To fight for the war. They need support, right? Okay, we know the past time. Let's not go into the details. Finally, Krishna asks. Krishna says, I am not going to fight the war, right? I will not take up any weapon, but my Narayani Sena is there, right? So, what happens? Our, Arjuna is given the first chance, right? We all know that, although Arjuna reached first, Duryodhana wanted to ask first. But Krishna says, no, I want Arjuna to ask first because Arjuna is younger, right? The younger person will get a chance. And then Duryodhana is like, he's fuming in his heart. What if Arjuna asks for the Narayani Sena? So very beautifully I heard in one lecture, this Narayani Sena actually indicates sense gratification, right? It's given by the Lord only. The Lord is only giving us choices, right? Either you take the Narayani Sena or you take me, right? Arjuna immediately chose Krishna, whereas our Duryodhana, right? He was so happy. Yay, he's a fool, right? He's chosen that one person who will not even take up a weapon, right? I get the Narayani Sena. And then he's saying, oh, Arjuna, he's taken this. Okay, fine, no problem. I'll take the Narayani Sena. But man mein laddu put rahe hain, right? It's like a pleasurable experience. My desire has been fulfilled. I have got the Narayani Sena, right? So I heard in this lecture that this Narayani Sena, our desire to sense gratified, right? Using the resources of the Lord without the Lord. This is Maya. This is illusion. This can never happen, right? Duryodhana did not win the war, right? Utilizing Krishna's energy without offering it to Krishna, but using it for sense gratification can never give us pleasure. And we've seen histories. We've seen so many pastimes. The Bhagavatam is filled with it. Right? Our Arjuna, he settled for Krishna because Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, right? Wherever there is Krishna and wherever there are devotees like Partha who take these decisions, being guided by the Lord, right? Tesham evanu kampartham aham ajnanajam tama, right? This ignorance in the heart by which we take the wrong decisions, that can also be removed only by the mercy of the Lord, right? So surrender is most essential. So what does Krishna say, right? I was just thinking, I also have I have the sweet tooth, right? Even within prasadam, right? I eat a lot of sweets, right? When I heard this, I could really control my mind, right? Whenever I'm going for Krishna prasadam, which is sweets, that means I'm going for Narayani Sena. Why? Because I'm having that sweet for my sense gratification. Although it is prasadam, right? Narayani Sena is Krishna's army. It's Krishna's prasadam only. But is it going to help me advance in devotional life? No. Because I'm having that with the consciousness of, I'm going to enjoy this, laddu. Generally, we go to Govindas, right? And then, the wonderful laddu, the display itself attracts us so much, right? I found it very difficult, right? I always buy sweets from Govindas. It's from my, they write very beautifully outside, right? Recently, we go to the Kargar temple. Outside, they write Shri Radha Madan Mohan Prasadam, right? And then, they have such wonderful prasadam there, like, this paneer roll, everything is offered to Krishna, right? Nothing is non-Krishna prasadam, right? Nice, donuts and very nice paneer roll and, whatnot. Everything that is palatable to the tongue. But it's Krishna prasadam. So, I always, most of the times, I have those sweets because it's prasadam, But when I heard this, that whenever we give in for sense gratification, even while having Krishna prasadam, it is like Duryodhana mentality. I am choosing, Narayani Sena, right? Why? Because I am not hungry. I have just had Khichdi prasadam, which is offered to the Lord, and my stomach is full. Why would I have a sweet prasadam, right now? Because I want to titillate my tongue, right? I want to satisfy my tongue. I am going to choose Narayani Sena. I am not choosing Krishna. Why? Because that sweet is going to affect my health. And if I don't maintain my body properly, I will not be able to render devotional service. And at the age of 45, sweets is not something that is going to help me keep my body fit for rendering devotional service. So next time, after that, whenever I've been to a temple and whenever I'm, so-called allured by this beautiful, the array of sweets in Shri Radha Madan Mohan Prasadam, I reiterate to myself why I should not go in for that particular sweet, even though it is Krishna Prasadam. It is like going in for the Narayani Sena, right? I don't know how much you all are able to relate to it, but then, it really helped me, to make that choice of not going in for something for sense gratification, even though it is Krishna Prasadam. All right, so let's come back. So here, we are not able to surrender to the Lord, right? Why we are always Duryodhanas, going for the Narayani Sena, going for the sense gratification. Even being in the past part of the devotee community, we have all the knowledge. We know we have to choose Krishna. We know we should not choose the Narayani Sena. We know we should not exploit the material nature for our own sense gratification. Everything is there in the head. Why does it not percolate to the heart? Why? Because what Krishna is saying, Daivi Haishugunami Mama Maya Duratyaya Mam Eva Ye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. We have to surrender to Krishna. We have to surrender to the Lord. We have to beg the Lord. Oh Lord, let something click for me. I thought this particular lecture I heard because of the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. Because I was able to stop myself from overindulging in sweets, even though it is Krishna Prasadam. Right? We always hear Yukta Ahara Viharasya, Yukta Keshasya Karmasya, Yukta Swapnava Bodhasya, Yogo Bhavati Dukkha. I used to tell myself, Srila Prabhupada used to leave this gulab jamuns, in the windowsill. Anybody and everybody can come and have, right? That is for people who are just coming into Krishna consciousness, not for people who have been in the movement for 20 years, right? We know where we are and where we want to reach. And even within the so-called devotional practices, if something is not favorable for us to advance in devotional services, if something is taking us more towards sense gratification, then we need to regulate that. We need to especially control our mind and not listen to the various various words of the acharyas only. It come to our mind. The mind tricks us that way, right? So how do we surrender to the Lord? Right? There are 6 angas of Sharanagati that, we can read on our own, right? Wherein Krishna says, if you surrender completely unto me, you can cross over the 3 modes of material nature. Anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjana, right? Accept only those things which are favorable for a devotional service. Reject everything that is not favorable to devotional service. Completely surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna, right? If Rakhe Krishna, Mare Krishna, Rakhe Ke. I'm going to surrender to Krishna. I'm not going to have this, right? I'm going to completely surrender to the Lord because I know that this is not favorable for my devotional service. If you're able to do that surrender, that is the best way. And then we leave it to Krishna. Krishna says, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam. Krishna will give us if it is good for us. Krishna will not give us if it is not good for us, right? So again, we come to the point of what we expect from the Lord in terms of protection. When we say Avashya Rakshibe Krishna, right? Krishna is not protecting me if my desires are not fulfilled. Krishna is protecting me only when my desires are fulfilled, right? We always give the example of how Shukadeva Goswami is protected by the Lord, right? Protection is always there of the Lord, but how much of that protection we are able to assimilate and understand, right? Shukadeva Goswami, we all know the pastime. I'll not go into it. Shukadeva Goswami was protected in the womb of his mother, Uttara, right? Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj was protected in the womb of his mother, Uttara, right? When he was about to be born, when Ashwatthama had sent that Brahmastra, right? But then later on, when Parikshit Maharaj was cursed to die in 7 days, at that time, Krishna did not seem to have protected Parikshit Maharaj, right? But the Acharyas explain that even at that time, Parikshit Maharaj was protected by Krishna because Krishna gave him the remembrance at the time of death. What better protection can we get than the remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead at the time of death? Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevram ya prayati samadbhavam yati nati atra samshaya. We can go back home, back to Godhead. So what better protection can we expect from the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So in this world, this world is subject to dualities. We will get happiness, we will get distress. But then are we able to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Right? On all the suffering that we may have in this world, are we able to surrender to Krishna? That is the test of our devotional service. Right? We always have the faith that the Lord is protecting us, only that I'm not able to realize the protection of the Lord because it is not coming in the way that I am expecting that particular protection. Right? So in that way, when we are surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then what happens? Krishna will give us the power to remember the Lord, to be dependent on the Lord. Right? Otherwise, by our own endeavor, Ata Sri Krishna Namadi na bhave grahim indriyai. Sevon mukehi jivado swayam eva suratyadaha. The Lord will reveal himself, the Lord will empower us to the extent we are able to express our sincerity to the Lord, to the extent we are able to show our dependence to the Lord, show our surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? To the extent we are grateful, to the extent we are surrendering to the Lord, right? Whatever suffering I'm experiencing right now, right? That suffering, it has to be multiplied several times because of my past karma. But Krishna is giving me, because I'm practicing devotional service, because I'm chanting Hare Krishna every day. We always say, I'm chanting Hare Krishna every day so many years. Krishna is giving me so much trouble, right? We simply need to reword, right? I have been practicing Krishna consciousness for 20 years. I am chanting Hare Krishna every day. That is why Krishna is just giving me a token of the suffering that I am entitled to. Because of my previous sinful activities and bad karmas, I am supposed to get a mountain of suffering. But Krishna has been so merciful that Krishna is just giving me a molehill. Krishna is giving me just a tiny particle of the suffering that I have to undergo because I have to get purified. And I get purified only when I atone for the wrongdoings. And so Krishna is giving me just a token of the suffering that I'm actually entitled to. Right? Tattenu kampam susamikshamano punjana evatma kritam vipakam hridvat vapurvir vidadan namaste jivit ye mukti padesa dayabhak. To the extent we are grateful even for our sufferings, knowing well, this is a fact that I am supposed to get much more sufferings. But then Lord Krishna is so merciful, he is giving me only a token of the suffering that I'm entitled to. I'm grateful to the Lord for that suffering also. Then I am entitled to get liberated, even being within this material body. to the extent we are grateful, to the extent we can surrender to the Lord, to that extent, we would not be disturbed by the dualities of this material world. We will not get elated with happiness. We will not take it too seriously that it takes us off the ground. Nor do sufferings will push us down the ground that we are not even able to do our devotional service. Neither will the happiness elate us, nor will the distress or our non-satisfaction or our non-fulfillment of the desire give us so much misery. Why? Because when we surrender to the Lord, we become fearless. Why we become fearless? Because we know that whatever is happening to us is good for me. My best friend is in full control. So whatever he does to me, it will be for my ultimate good. Whether or not I perceive it as a suffering, whether or not I perceive it as happiness for the time being, does not really matter in the long run. That's how we started our class. Bhajahure man Sri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare Abhaya Charanara Vindare Abhaya Charanara Vindare. We get fearless when we always remember the Lord, never forget the Lord, when we surrender to the Lord. And in this age of Kali, that fearlessness can be experienced. That surrender can be experienced. That remembrance of the Lord can be maintained at all times. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here. Thank you all for your patient hearing. If there are any queries or realizations, we can take them now. I thank you all for staying till the end of the session. Manchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anandakoti Vaishnavavindaki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai. Kaliyuga Patita Pavana Hare Krishna Maha Mantra ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. What is simple yet so deep and wonderful class, Mataji. So grateful for you, Mataji. Yeah, just whatever it is giving, he's only giving it tiny bit.
This class for me because I do suffer too much about being attached to the objects of material nature. So if it has helped all of you in some way, my sincere gratitude and to the Lord that I could be an instrument in helping all of you to get some kind of realization in this subject matter. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Much. I'm trying to see if there is any raised hands. Mataji, I don't see raised hand, but I have one question, Mataji. Knowing that this is material world is dukkha masasatam, why it is so difficult to attach to that holy name, still searching somewhere else, Mataji. See, when we hear this, it's evident, it's known, but still we know that we are suffering because of our past karmas, but still we want to chant. I'm talking about myself, but still something else will be more attractive in the sense, okay, we'll do chant and do other things, right? Knowing that, yes, this is material, this is temporary, but still the taste and the conviction, I think it is there in the sense, but at the same time, not there. Why this go through this, knowing that it is suffering, Mataji? I don't know, I asked my question properly, but I think I am also too much way attached to things. And
yeah, so Arjuna asked the same question to Krishna, right? Why am I propelled to perform some sinful activities or propelled towards not wanting to do some things, yet I do those things, right? And Krishna says it is lust only, Arjuna, very clearly, right? Because we have this desire to enjoy independence of the Lord. That is why we are always put in a position where we have difficult choices to make. If we know very well that, if something anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varchana, right? If it is favoring my devotional service, only then I will desire it. Otherwise, I don't want to desire it, right? Because it is not helping me. As long as this thought is not clear, right? It is very, very difficult to completely give up, right? Like there is a beautiful example of this, the anchor on the anchor is not removed, then how much ever we row, we don't even move from that place, right? That anchor has to be removed. Then only the boat can go, isn't it? So, to the extent we are attached to the material objects, and the sense pleasures of this material world, we may do, and the purification will happen by the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mantra, by studying of Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, hearing from acharyas, hearing from our spiritual masters, performing devotional service. But as long as we are attached to the to satisfying our senses, to that extent the progress will be slow. Right? This is Radhanath Maharaj always says about the good dog and the bad dog. Right? The more we say yes to the good dog and no to the bad dog, right? Whatever is not favorable, we say no. Then our good dog can bark nicely, and we can take our decisions which will help us advance in devotional service. But when we say yes to the good dog, yes to the bad dog, yes to the good dog, yes to the bad dog, we go, we come back, we go and come back, go and come back. That's why we are not able to make significant progress in our path of devotional service. So we need to have the determination, and we need to be at the same time dependent on the Lord to say no to things that are not favorable for our devotional service or for our advancement in our devotional life. We all know in our hearts what is it that is stopping us from becoming completely surrendered to the Lord. We all know, right? We don't have to ask anybody. Like Prabhupada says, somebody who has a nice meal need not ask somebody else that, am I feeling full? Right? So similarly, whatever is lacking, we all know. It is only that we try to give some excuse or the other, saying that, okay, I don't want to do this because, so many reasons, right? Our brain works very well, right? But then, is it helping us advance in devotional service? If yes, then only we pursue that activity. Otherwise, we don't pursue that activity. And as long as we are able to do that without saying yes to Maya, in between we also say yes. That's why progress gets hampered or gets delayed. I wouldn't say hampered, gets delayed. To the extent we are able to say yes to Anukulyasya Sankalpa, whatever is favorable, and no to whatever is not favorable, then we'll make advancement faster. To that extent, yeah. So that's what it is. That's what I think, my humble view. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. I see one raised hand, Mataji, Akshar Prabhu. Prabhu, if you're still there, if you have a question, please go ahead, Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for the wonderful lecture. Mataji, I have a silly question, like if someone
there is
gets...
no silly question in spiritual life, because say, why do we ask a question, right? There was one other Mataji also, she wrote, she had a query, and then she said, Mataji, sorry for the silly question. Then I just before the class this happened. So I just told that, Mataji, there is no silly questions, right? Why are we asking a question? Because we think that the answer to that question will help us advance in spiritual life. So can that be silly? Something that can help us advance in devotional life. Can that be silly? No, can never be silly. So no query is silly, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yes, go ahead.
If some devotee is getting more mercy or kripa, or if he is, getting a Brahmanical initiation faster, then we are not envious, but we are not very happy for them. Then why is it so? Like, and you have to deal within the devotee community. Like, we are not open to everyone. We have a certain few devotees we are more close to, and then few which we just barely see, or just say Hare Krishna and leave. So, like, how to, like, because on a Brahmanical level, he is like, he lives in the present, and we have heard in a lot of lectures, like, how a Brahman should be, but how to reach that level?
Yeah. So we were all envious of the Supreme Lord himself, right? That's why we are in this material world, right? So, to become envious, why that person is getting more mercy? Why am I not getting that mercy? Right? That means we are, we have all the knowledge, right? Like I said, all the knowledge is there in the head, right? Gopi Bhartu Padakamalyor, Dasa, Dasa, Dasanu, Dasa. The Lord is pleased more if we serve his devotees and please the devotees, right? The other day I was talking to, the other day we were talking about this Ramanujacharya pastime, Kanchi Purna with Varadaraj Perumal, right? So, it's Kanchi Purna, he could talk to Varadaraj Perumal directly. He was directly serving Varadaraj Perumal. So, once Ramanujacharya asked, Kanchi Purna to ask, amongst the various instructions, one person, this was another instance, somebody asked Kanchi Purna, when will I go back home, back to Godhead, right? So, as Kanchi Purna, when he asked Varadaraj Perumal, he told that, yes, this devotee will go back home, back to Godhead in this lifetime. And then Kanchi Purna thought, let me ask about my condition also. So he asked Varadaraj Perumal that when will I come back to Godhead? And then the Lord tells him, you are directly serving me, right? Only those people who serve my devotees, they will only get priority and they will only go back to Godhead. So you may take some lifetimes. So Kanchipurna immediately, he left and then he found a way, right, by which he started engaging in the service of the devotees of the Lord. Immediately left the service of the Lord, right? So the moral of the story here is, if we have envy towards any devotee of the Lord will not be pleased. Right? Whether we are getting Brahminical initiation or not getting Brahminical initiation does not really matter. But we have displeased a Vaishnava simply by the thought. On the flip side, in Kali Yuga, we will not get penalized for our thoughts. That is one advantage of Kali Yuga. So, when some thought like this, envy comes in our mind. Oh, this devotee has got initiation. Why am I not getting initiation? Very, very wonderful opportunity for us. Immediately to go to the devotee and glorify the devotee. Oh, you are so wonderful, right? That you got Brahminical initiation. You deserve it. That is why you got the Brahminical initiation. And also the wonderful qualities. Oh, you sing Krishna bhajan so beautifully. Your Srimad Bhagavatam classes are so wonderful, right? Something of the other. Genuinely what we feel. It is not that lip service, right? Simply we go and tell. We don't have it in the heart. See, everybody has got some good quality that we can always imbibe and learn, right? If you have an open heart, right? Because everybody, right? Mama Tejo Amsha Sambhava, Krishna says, every person is a part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of God, and Mameva Amsho Jiva Loke, right? And everybody has got some good quality of the other, of the opulences of the Lord, right? Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yashasya Shreya, right? Knowledge, strength, wealth, beauty, right? The ability to speak very nicely Srimad Bhagavatam, or sing very nicely, or do nice kirtan, or chant Hare Krishna Mantra during Brahma Murta, something or the other the devotee will have. We have to introspect ourselves, find out what is it, that one quality of that particular devotee that I admire, and go and appreciate the devotee genuinely for that quality, right? Not do lip service, like simply go and tell, you do wonderful kirtans. No. What we have realized in terms of our experience with the devotee. Generally, we always compete with those devotees where we do a particular seva together, right? Like Prabhupada also tells that we are not envious of Vishnu, right? Because Vishnu has 4 arms. Vishnu has Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, right? Vishnu kills all the demons. But we are envious of Krishna because Krishna has only 2 hands. Right? Krishna is also, playing with the gopas like we also do. So we are generally envious, and we have this competitive mentality with those whom we think are like us, right? So if we have a very senior devotee who's taking sannyas initiation, we are not bothered, right? We know that such a devotee is so elevated, we don't compare ourselves. But if it is a devotee who has been practicing with us, then only that envy creeps in us. Why I am not getting Brahminical initiation? Why is this devotee getting Brahminical initiation? So we have been in association with the devotee. So we have to introspect. What is that quality in that particular devotee which inspires me? Definitely there will be some quality. And we go and praise that devotee with genuine heart and humility, knowing well that if this devotee is pleased with me, then Guru and Gauranga will be pleased with me. Right? Because this thought came in my mind, I have to necessarily please this devotee. When we go and please that devotee, when we glorify that particular devotee, then that intention in our heart, our envy dies down. The more we glorify a particular devotee, our enviousness towards that devotee comes down. And the seva bhav towards that particular devotee, how can I assist that devotee in that particular seva? Whatever seva that particular devotee has got. Then that Bhoga vritti becomes seva vritti, right? When it is a Bhoga vritti, I also want. I want. That is Bhoga vritti. How can I serve that person? That person has got this Brahminical initiation. So he will get more opportunities to do deity worship. How can I assist this particular devotee in his seva to the Lord? That is seva vritti. When Bhoga vritti becomes seva vritti, then we please that devotee. By pleasing that devotee, we please Guru and Gauranga. By being envious, we neither please that devotee, nor do we please Guru, nor do we please Gauranga, nor are we going to advance in devotional service. So, which is the one we should practice? We have a free will, right? Krishna does not interfere with our free will. So, I have a free will. What I want to do, whether I want to become envious and also verse still is even put into action, right? Talk to few other devotees. Why this devotee should not have got Brahminical initiation. And then what is it? We get But we do Vaishnava aparad, and that cuts the root of our Bhakti Lata, right? That cuts the root of our devotional service, right? But then we have a free choice, we have a free will. I can go and glorify the devotee genuinely by contemplating on my various interactions with the devotee. What is the devotee very good in in service to the Lord, in service to Guru and Gauranga? How can I help that devotee according to my limited capacity? When that is our choice that we make, then the devotee is pleased and Guru and Gauranga are pleased. I hope that helps, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the detailed explanation, Mataji. Another question I had, like, how to remove the duplicity when we like meet some initiated devotee and some non-initiated devotee. Like, there is a lot of duplicity in terms of giving respect and how we treat.
Yeah. So I asked His Holiness Swami Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj, right, when he came to Mumbai. Generally, I don't have humility. I'm very humility does not come in me, right? So I was asking Maharaj, Maharaj, we know that humility helps us, right? We want to practice humility, but humility is not coming, right? So we try, right? We offer obeisances every day in the morning. We try to show ourselves as humble, right? We are acting, right? Because we are not humility is not there in the heart, but we offer obeisances. Externally, we try to show humility, right? If we see that it's actually kapata, this is actually duplicitous, because I'm doing something, but something else is in my heart. So when I asked Maharaj, right, Maharaj told a very beautiful point. Maharaj said, yes, you can practice humility like that externally, although in the heart there is no humility. But you should know what is the reason. Right? You can fool everybody, but you can't fool yourself, right? You know in your heart what is the reason you're acting, right? The reason I'm acting is I want to develop genuine humility. Then it is okay. But the reason is if you want to show to others how humble you are, then that is kapata. The first situation is you understand that I am patita, I am fallen. I don't have these good qualities in me. I'm trying to practice it with the view to getting these qualities in me, because practice makes perfect. I want to develop this, right? So with what is our intention, that counts, right? If our intention is to genuinely develop these qualities, and because of that I am practicing it, although I don't feel it in my heart, then the Lord, the Guru, they all understand that this is the case of patita, and then we get the blessings. But if you are duplicitous and we try to show to others that I am humble and we are doing it for the purpose of getting some name, fame, glory, we may even get it. We may even get the name, fame, glory, but we will not advance in devotional service, right? That's why Krishna may give everything. He may give name, fame, glory. He may give everything, but he will not give Krishna prema. And what is our desire? Our desire, what is that verse? Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarin kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatat bhaktir ahituki tvai. If I want devotional service, then I will do it with the consciousness by which I will get devotional service. I will get love for Krishna. Otherwise, I will get a lot of other things, right? But if that is my goal, if I want to get name, fame, glory, fine. Then you may practice that. You may be duplicitous, kapata, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is patita pavana. Patita pavana hitu tavavatara mosama patita prabhu napai beara. Right? I am most fallen. Right? We may sing this song, but we may not feel that I am fallen in the heart. Right? But we want to develop that bhava, that I am the most fallen. I know it is a fact, but I am not feeling it. But if I want to genuinely develop that bhava and I sing that song in front of the Lordships every day, then by their mercy, I will develop that bhava. But if I sing for the purpose of name, fame, glory, if I show humility to get artificial, name, fame, glory, you should enhance my false ego, then I will get that. Right? Depends on what I want. If I want pure devotional service, then I should accept that I am fallen. I am practicing this. By this practice, I will be able to genuinely develop the humility, genuinely develop the qualities that will enhance my devotional service. I hope that helps, bro. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mataji. A very, very wonderful answer. I have some, some comments by Param Pavani Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear Mataji, all glories to Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Nitai, all Vaishnavas, humble obeisances. Simple yet very, very powerful, strongly penetrating and highly practical lecture, dear Mataji. I genuinely love the following point. The attachment of examples of phone and Mercedes. Hiranyakashipu versus Dhruv's desire and approach. Devata Krishna, shopkeeper and parents. And Duryodhana mentality. Krishna Prasadam as Narayana Sena. Two types of Krishna protection to Parikshit Maharaj. Mataji's saying, yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Kripa Karpakavalli Mataji. I see Kanika Mataji has a question. Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranams for the beautiful discourse. I really loved it. I have a question, but I don't know, like, it's not exactly related to this discourse, but I've been contemplating on it. Like, in today's world, even if you're not addicted to technology, like I don't own a television, I prefer going for walks, and, I have other means of recreation. Even like on our phone, our reality is changing so quickly, right? We expect instant messages, instant responses to our messages, and same with, like, because of COVID, we work from home a lot. So in that environment, I'm doing my malas, I'm attending my discourses, I'm doing seva, I'm going to the temple. But how do you, I guess, develop dhairya in that environment that is changing so quickly?
How do you develop? Sorry?
Dhairya, patience, dhairya.
उत्साहात् निश्चयात् धैर्यात् तत्तत् कर्म प्रवर्तनात् संगत्याग सतोवृत्ति सद्भिर भक्तिर प्रसिद्ध्यति. Right? So we need to have a balance. Right? Of course, we use technology, we use all of these advancements for, right now I have the laptop, I have the speaker, I have the mobile. Right? All of this we use in Krishna's seva. So ultimately it boils down whether it is bhoga vritti or seva vritti. Right? What is my consciousness? What is my internal mood? Right? What is applicable to the particular situation? Whether some devotee was also asking, how do we exercise enthusiasm and patience? Very difficult, right? If you are enthusiastic about something, you want that to happen soon, we are not able to exercise patience. And if you are really patient, waiting for something, then we actually move towards lethargy. We are no longer enthusiastically performing the activities, right? We become a little lethargic. So how do we practice patience? How do we know when we should show enthusiasm, when we should show patience? Right? We depend on the Lord. Right? Aham ajnana jam tamaha nashayami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhashvataha. Right? And of course, whenever we have a practical question, right? In this case, whether I should exercise patience or enthusiasm, then we can ask our counselors, then we can ask our senior devotees. But generally, a very generic understanding of how to develop patience is to be understood in the particular context, whether it is going to help me advance in devotional service or not. That is a very, very simple question that can answer all of our queries. Right?
Thank you.
If by being patient, I'm able to advance in devotional service, then I exercise patience. Right? If by asking that query to a devotee, it is going to help me, then I ask that devotee. I don't remain patient with that particular query. Right? So it depends on what we think will help us advance in devotional service. I hope that helps. It's a very generic answer. It depends on the situation. What is the situation?
No, I think that's a beautiful parameter or a thermometer of sorts to really see how to respond. So no, it's I think simplicity is beautiful. So I really think that's easy to remember also, right? Because it's simple. So that is something I can use, because currently what I'm struggling with is that since I have this natural habit of getting back to people very quickly, now I'm getting inundated with messages, be it at work or personal, and now in my head I'm thinking that am I responding because I have that horrible habit that I have to get back to people quickly, or now I feel should I just maybe lay back and relax, because how many of these responses are going to help me advance in devotional service?
Yeah, so passion and goodness, right? Sattvam sanjayate jnanam, right? So as much as we need to introspect whether I'm in the mode of passion or I'm in the mode of Satvaguna, right? The Satvaguna is a platform from which we can jump to Shuddha Sattva.
Yes.
Right? So we can always check that from that parameter. If we are in Satvaguna, then we will know how much to be enthusiastic in terms of responses and how much to be patient. We will be able to strike a balance.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Hare Bol. Dear devotees, do you have anybody has any other questions? I'm trying to check back if there is any raised hands. I don't see any raised hands. Let's pay our obeisance to Mataji. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Prabhupada ki jai.
वैष्णविंद की जय
Jai.
राधे राधे
Bhagavatam ki jai.
राधे राधे
Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat pranam.
Thank you.
Jai Jai
राधे
Shri
राधे
Gauranga.
राधे
Nityananda.
राधे
Gauranga.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, we are not closing the call here. We will read Ekadasi Matya and then close it. Mataji, if you have other service, you can leave. Mataji, if you don't have, you can